Hello, everyone. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. The title of this message is, Have You Forgiven Yourself? This is a pretty heavy message. You guys know I spend time sitting in my closet praying before God, and really about 90% of the time just listening, to be quite honest, if not 95% of the time. And I was sitting in my closet the other day, and I was thinking about you guys, like, Lord, these are your people. Like, I'm just your voice. Just use me. What is it that you want me to talk about? And God woke me up at like 3 a.m. and put in my heart, Z, you need to forgive yourself. And I was thinking to myself, well, where's this coming from? And then have you ever started playing tapes in your mind, like scenes from the past, things that happened? I found myself replaying scenes from my life, Now I'm going on 50 years old, so lots of scenes, but just replaying tapes in my life, things that's happened since I've been on this earth, and difficult scenes that just brought me to tears. And I started telling God, I'm so sorry I didn't make a better choice in this situation. I started feeling so almost like guilty of, wow, when this situation happened, why didn't I speak up? Or when this situation happened, why was I so worried about what other people would think instead of bringing this to light? And I mean, I went far back, It was just one of those moments where I just started thinking through I don't want to talk about the details. I think that would be a little inappropriate. And God hasn't placed on my heart to go into specifics. And I don't think the specifics matter. And here's why. Because I think for each of us, it's different. We all have things in our past that's either happened to us or things that happen where perhaps we feel, wow, why did I let that happen? Or why did that happen to me? Or why didn't I speak up, or what have you? And the situations would be so vastly different. I think it's probably good that I'm not giving specific examples. But there are some things that happen even in my adult life, especially in my adult life, I should say, that I just was grieving and talking to God, and I said, God, I'm sorry that I wasn't stronger at that time. I'm sorry that I allowed this to happen, and I didn't speak up for myself, or I didn't do something. And I literally was just bawling, just in tears, almost like watching scenes of my life, and just, I can't quite explain it. My relationship with God is kind of different because, I don't know, when I talk to him, it's like it's such a sweet conversation, such a back and forth. And even with me replaying and having these scenes and moments in my life, it's almost as if God is with me as I'm watching it. And I'm saying to God, I'm sorry that I didn't do better here, or I didn't speak up here, or I didn't, handle this better, or I allowed, someone to treat me this way, or what have you. And so I'd say probably for about a good 30 minutes or an hour, I was in that mode. And then when it was all said and done, I said, God, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And God just put such a sweet something in my spirit. When I don't know how to describe what God does, I call it an unction. I don't even know where I got that word from. But it's like an unction that was put in me. And I felt in my spirit, my daughter, I've forgiven you. Or, it's not my forgiveness that you seek. You need to forgive yourself. And then God starts speaking to me. I feel in my spirit, I start feeling or hearing, you made the best choices you could make at that time with the wisdom and the courage that you had in that moment. Just as you're making the best choices you can right now in this current time. You made the best choices. I can't even tell you what that did for me to hear that in my spirit. It was almost as though I was experiencing like a cleansing, like maybe cleansing's the wrong word. I don't know. That's the word I choose to use right now. But I think for the first time in my life, I was able to forgive myself for what I didn't know, or forgive myself for the courage I didn't have, to forgive myself for the wisdom I didn't have. I know that sounds odd to have me say it like that. Like, how can you forgive yourself for the wisdom you didn't have? But that's how I feel in my spirit, that I had to go through a moment of forgiving myself for just what I didn't know, or what I just didn't have the courage to deal with in that moment. Because so many times throughout my life, and I've spoken a lot to you guys, I was in some sort of a survival mode, if that makes any sense. So I don't even know if, this message will touch everyone, because maybe I'm one of few people that feel this. But I gave you guys my word that in this podcast, I will show up and be authentic. And whatever I feel that God is sharing with me or putting in my heart, I have to just walk in obedience and share it. Even if it doesn't make sense to the majority of the people that have, subscribed to this podcast. And this is one of the heaviest things that God has put in my heart. Of Z, you gotta forgive yourself. You don't need to look back on those moments with the sadness you were feeling, and keep replaying those tapes, wishing you had done something differently. Can't go back and change the past. But now you're wiser. You're brave. Now you have courage. You're a different person. I've redeemed you. I almost said revised you, but I've redeemed you. I've risen you up. You now know the power that lives inside of you. You have healthier boundaries in your life. So don't sit and fault yourself for the things you didn't know at the time, or for the wisdom and the courage that you didn't have at that time. You made the best choices you knew in those moments. I don't know. I pray that someone is listening to this, and someone is just as freed as I am right now from those scenes in my life that had sort of a hook in me, that every blue moon I'll go back to wishing I'd done better. God has clearly, I feel at this moment, given me the freedom to forgive myself. It's kind of easy to ask for God to forgive us if there's any wrongs we've done, but I never even thought about forgiving myself. So when that was put in my spirit, I'm like, what do you mean, God, forgive myself? And I think that's what I had to do. It was forgiving myself. And knowing I did my best. And even the times where I may have known better and didn't do what I would call my best, I didn't have the courage or the strength at that time to do, now that I know more, to do what probably should have been done. And it's okay. Can't go back and change the past, but I tell you this, moving forth, I'm going to continue to do my best to make better choices. So there's just one little passage I just want to refer to real quickly. I pray this message is helping just one person, just one. If it's helping just one person, then it's worth recording. Let's see, in Deuteronomy, I'm in chapter 31. There's many passages in the Bible where God calls us to be strong and courageous. But I love this part about when Joshua, in chapter 31, concerning Joshua and concerning Moses. But I love in verse 5, it says, in verse 6, it says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." And I love that that was told to him. And I read it as though it's being told to me. Be strong and courageous. See, you don't have to worry about the past. I'm never going to leave you. I'm never going to forsake you. I'm with you. I pray that this message encourages you, and I pray that you spend some time reflecting. And if you feel anything that I just voiced that I was feeling, because what's so ironic is it seems as if, and I don't know why, well, I know it's God, but it seems as if everything I'm feeling and going through, I hear so many of you, I read the comments, and I see so many of you guys saying, Z, it's like you're speaking my words. It's like I was just thinking the same thing and going through the same thing. That's what's so amazing to me, is that I'm just simply sharing my mess. And it just blows my mind that there's other people out there that can relate. But if this relates to you, I just want to beg you to spend some time in prayer with God. Spend some time by yourself. Let those tapes and those moments play and do what it needs to do. And I pray that you get to a point where you can say, I forgive myself. God, I know you've forgiven me for, any and all wrongs I've ever done, but I forgive myself. I forgive myself. And we move on and we continue to make the best choices we can make moving forth in life. I love you all. I love you. I love you. I love you very much. You guys have been the best community ever. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all the support, all the prayers. And I pray that this message blesses someone today. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification button. Love you all. Bye-bye.